EDA, there may have been some confusion as to my GF's reaction. She was ashamed her family dug so deep into me, not about my response. After wanting to die for the next 48 hours, she agreed I did the right thing and that it was funny. Backstory: due to my dad's job we lived in Italy for 3 years when I was younger, so I speak Italian almost fluently. It's been a while, so I've lost some of it. And #X200B. Recently I started dating a girl. She's great and I love her so much. I met her family a few nights ago for dinner. She warned me that the male side of her family is very big into being macho, into testing the boys the women date, and are very big on taking pride in their Italian ancestry. I think besides the grandfather, however, they were almost all born in Bergen County, New Jersey, but whatever, it's nice to take pride in one's heritage. And #X200B. Long story short, at dinner they kept making jokes at my expense. I honestly would not call it bullying, just things about my height, beard, shaved head. They tried making fun of my IT job too, but stopped once I told them my income. It was overall not a bad experience, but a not so pleasant one. Anyways, her older brother kept pushing things, giving me exceptional amounts of shit for playing lacrosse in HS. Apparently it's a sport for prissy rich kids and not manly like football or baseball. He ended his rant by saying, "Hey, we're just a big Italian family, we're loud and tell it how we see it. Ha ha ha." And all the family except my girlfriend laughed. So I, for the next minute, responded to everything they said in Italian. My girlfriend buried her head in shame, the grandfather laughed, and everyone else kept looking at each other confused before telling me they didn't speak Italian. I replied, "Then don't use your Italian heritage as an excuse to behave poorly when you can't even speak the language." They got mad, but the grandfather told them all I was right and to be quiet. And #X200B. My girlfriend isn't mad, just ashamed. I think the grandfather likes me, but word from my GF's sister is that all the men are furious, think I'm a smartass and that I disrespected them in their masculinity in an unforgivable way. So Ada? This all started back in March. My son's best friend turned 13. In his family, 13th birthday is a huge deal. In addition to a massive party, which all 4 of us were invited to, his parents also took him to Disney World. They invited my son to attend as well. My wife was hesitant to consent to this. She said it was unfair to allow our son to go when our 9-year-old daughter can't. Especially since she loves Disney and princesses. I said that our kids won't always have the exact same opportunities, and if we set a precedent here, we'll have to stick to it if and when our daughter gets a similar opportunity. So we'd just be punishing both our children needlessly. My wife reluctantly agreed that we should allow our son to go. I gave our son money to buy his sister souvenirs. He did, and his friend's parents even bought extra stuff for him to give to her. Still, when she saw him come back wearing a Star Wars shirt with the Mickey hat and trading pin lanyard, she burst into tears. My wife later said we made a huge mistake and never should have let him go. I, mistakenly, thought all of that was behind us. Now, we are not well off financially, but my bill is, and he invited all of us to visit a beach house he rented for a summer send-off. My wife told me she wants to have our son stay with my dad and just take out daughter to even the score. I told my wife that isn't happening. We are their parents. We can't favor one child over the other. Not being invited to the birthday trip of a kid you barely know is in no way comparable to being left out of a family vacation, and I'm shocked she would even suggest such a thing. I refuse to allow it. Now my wife is angry, but I don't care. I'm not punishing my son for being lucky. Ada? It's our first real vacation since 2020 and my first with just my husband and in over 10 years. Our daughter Annie, 17, was left home alone. For some reason recently Annie can do no right in hubby's eyes. Dress, music, chores. He has deemed her irresponsible. It farthest from the truth. She has a summer job and makes good grades. She's in fact kinda a hermit for her age. Unknown to me, my husband set the hot water heater to refill only once a day while we are gone. Annie did some dishes and laundry. She took a shower and the water was cold. She was upset and thought it broke and called us panicking. My husband yelled into her for wasting our hot water and telling her how irresponsible she was, enough to make her cry. I got madder than I ever have in this marriage and basically said most parents would love to have a 17-year-old like Annie. We argued and screamed all night, so next day I left the resort to a little hotel down the street. My husband has been trying to call me and I told Annie to block her father and don't pay attention to him. My husband is mad about the wasted money on this vacation, but I can't stand to even look at him over an argument over something so stupid and preventable. I had lent my BF some money few weeks ago because of something he needed and he promised to pay me back ASAP. He was supposed to pay me back 5 days ago, but something came up and he didn't. I tried to be patient. Yesterday we had planned to go out with some friends at night for dinner. Yesterday after I came back from work I was robbed in the bus and I had all my money and cards stolen. I cancelled my cards, but the bank customer service told me my new card with my new details, both physical card and the digital detail for Apple Pay, would be available the following morning because the banks were closed that afternoon. So I had no money. When we went to dinner with my BF and friends, I told my BF if he could just pay me back the money or at least pay for my meal since I have no money. He didn't exactly say yes or no, just a simple "don't worry." As we ordered, he only ordered for himself and told me that he can't cover for mine at the moment, so I better not order anything and just have some bites from his meal. I was so mad and frustrated because he had promised to give me back the money. He then claimed something came up and couldn't give them back, but then ordered a nice meal for himself and just told me to get his scraps because he wouldn't pay me back or at least for my meal. I'd be the only one sitting there with no meal in front of me. I said this is ridiculous and I got up and left. Our friends now believe it was very low of me to get up and leave and how I should just be polite and stay there. I can't quite understand that logic, but is there any way I am TA? My partner, 34F, and I, 28 meters, have been together for 5 years. She has a daughter, 8, from a previous relationship. Right off the bat, it was made known I had fertility issues and likely wouldn't ever be able to father a child. I moved slow in the relationship, although I had fallen in love with her fast. When things got serious, I overheard her telling her sister she was concerned that I might be an aggressive type person because of the amount of scars I have. I didn't want her scared away, so I told her I had a bad childhood and left it at that. A little over 2 years into our relationship, I felt somewhat comfortable opening up, and for the first time I told her exactly why I'm infertile, which is a direct result of an injury I suffered due to trauma as a child. She was really empathetic and I was just thankful I had found the one I want to spend my life with that also came with a kid I adore. Fast forward to last summer. My partner and her friend decided to play an impromptu prank on me. I came home from work, there were multiple positive pregnancy tests in the bathroom. My partner announced she was pregnant. I started freaking out. A happy freak out cause I thought I had hit the lottery with the slim to none chance I have. They both started laughing. The tests were from the friend and not my partner. I was pretty much devastated and felt really let down that my partner would actually pull a prank like that. At first she was shocked by my reaction and said, "I thought you'd know it was a joke considering your circumstances." She ended up apologizing after realizing how hurt I was. Now for the point of the post. 3 weeks ago she arranged a huge dinner with her entire family at our house. She had us play this stupid mystery game and ultimately announced to everyone she's pregnant. Her mother and sisters were deliriously happy. Immediately I got pissed thinking this was yet another prank, so I showed absolutely no emotions, which everyone caught on to. I said to my partner, "Either you're just mentally disturbed or you're cheating." That's pretty much when all hell broke loose. My partner's POV is that she was sincerely apologetic about the prank and I should know her well enough to not think she'd ever pull that stunt again. She's also livid at me for ruining the announcement, embarrassing her in front of her entire family, causing them to think I'm a horrible person and then finally insinuating that she's a cheater. I still stand by my claim that had she never pranked me, my reaction would have been different. I do find it odd she decided to tell me along with her family. Things would have likely went over better had she told me first, and then we announced it together. But I'm starting to think I acted immaturely causing scene in front of her family, and I think that's maybe where I'm wrong. My husband and I have been trying to have kids for 3 years. I've had a series of MCs and not a single pregnancy was successful. Our recent MC was a month ago. And although my husband never said anything, up until now, these have such trying times for me personally, the tension and emotions are very overwhelming and I've become too sensitive even at the mention of the topic. He took me to his family's house for dinner last night and my MC was brought up by his mom. The look of disappointment on her face made me lose my appetite completely. She went on and on about what may have caused it. Then my husband chimed in and said that he's starting to come to a conclusion that maybe I'm incapable of being a mom. I was floored for 2 reasons. One is that he'd even say such thing. 2 is that no doctor has told me that there was something wrong with me specifically, so for him to declare I was incapable of bearing children and being a mom hurt like a sting. I looked at him and he was like, "What?" Then told me to not get offended since he was just being honest. He said he loves me and thinks I'm perfect but still thinks that I'm flawed in that area, referring to motherhood. I had it at that point. I just got up from my seat and took my stuff and headed to the door. I said nothing, just made my way out. He shouted at me but I didn't stop. I went home and he came and started unloading on me about how immature and too sensitive and ridiculous I was being. He said he was giving his honest opinion about the matter and I have no right to police the words that come out of his mouth whether I like what I'm hearing or not. It's still the truth. We argued some, then we stopped talking altogether. He keeps saying I exaggerated and walked during dinner and disrespected him and his family over literally nothing. I'm unsure if I handled this the right way, or yet acted out of emotions.